Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, with the player ranked #1 in the world by Dark. In the blue, the former Zerg world champion, the final boss. It's Dark. Up against his counterpart, the Terran in the red, we have Bunny. A best-of-3 Terran versus Zerg showdown between Dark's barely controlled chaos and Bunny's top-tier Terran timing attacks. We have a series that'll hopefully get you hopping to smash that like button. And maybe even subscribe and help me counter the algorithm. And Jimmy, what are we at? No cringing. 1,578 likes on this video and this cast. And I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far, and hopefully it's about to get a little bit better than the lowly blue mineral workers brawling it out for control of an expansion to the north. Looks like Dark tried to hedge his bets, and Bunny pulling a bit of an early clem by denying both the south and the north base. The extractor will be unpopped as he tries to re-expand. Dark decides to go for the triangle base. So the Reaper will be politely yet firmly escorted out by the Queen. So the drone down on the low ground, well, he knows it's there. The grenade as well, but the Reaper will continue to do what it does best and what Terran players love to do, which is annoy everyone. So, third command center already on the way for Bunny, but he's not started his... He actually got the starport, the third command center, his cake, and he's trying to eat it too. As the Zerglings are coming in, he cut the Hellions by 10-15 seconds, and that's going to cost this SCV its life. Bureaucratic decisions like this are felt first by the working class SCVs, but for Zerglings, not an existential threat, but a lot of emotional damage being dealt. 2 SCVs for 4 Lings early, and maybe even a Marine speed finishes. They jump to it, and he gets in and scouts. He scouts the starport, doesn't have a tech lab. The timing of the... Sometimes the fruit is a bit too low-hanging. Moving on. Lair. Lair? 3-4 minute lair out of Dark. Not going for the Mass Queen Ling style. And, well, we'll see if he adds. He adds 1 more gas. So, and he hasn't added a roach for it. Which leaves Nidus and technically the Reaper. The Reaper did not. It did not scout the lair timing. He's in the dark. And certainly the dark can hurt him. And a Viking comes out first. We'll deny the Overlord scout, but that means Bunny's going to take even longer to get across the map. We're going to find out what direction Dark wants to take it momentarily. But unless it's some sort of crazy Hydra timing, which even for Dark would be a little out there. He's got 200 gas banked up. And a Spire on the way. It's gonna be Mutas. 1 drone incinerated, another one just kind of offers itself up. We've all been there. But Dark trying to rush mutalisks. And this has to be a mass muta build. Going for mutas this early, doesn't have an evo chamber, doesn't even have a baneling nest. There is no follow-up option when you go mutas this early. If it gets scouted, well, it's almost certainly not going to do anything. But he's exploiting the fact that Amygdala, this map, has one of the most roundabout rush distances, especially early on, that you can have. Before the 8-minute mark, when the Zerg rocks bleed out, which is how that mechanic works, unless you actually drop creep or something, which you can do. You have to go all the way around. And because, wow, Bunny actually flipped one of his barracks over to the starport reactor and is now building his medevacs are going to be coming out at around the same time the mutas are flying across the map. Which means there's not going to be much, if any, opportunity to exploit the fact that Dark will have barely any legs on the ground. A beautiful choice, especially in game #1. No, best of 3 is not the most long-winded series. 7 mutas in production. Dark going to expand to the 12 o'clock. He's got +1 flyer attack. 2 evo chambers. Baneling nest on the way. Bunny not slouching. He's got 1-1 on his double evo chamber. He's got 2 medevacs out and 5 racks ready to go. So Bunny will have that full level of macro production that you expect from Terrans, and Dark will have that flying rat level of production that you rarely expect nowadays from Zerg. But the mutas. The Viking gonna be caught in the center of the map and taken out, but we'll be able to sound the alarm. The mutas are coming. And just those few extra seconds of warning and the ability to zone out gives him time to put the missile turrets up in the mineral line. The turrets per minute begins to raise. And so far, Dark coming up empty when it comes to the muta pressure. And flies it. Oh no, what muta? Picked off by the missile turret, outflanked. Gonna pick off some of the Marines coming out of the racks, but certainly not the economic damage you're looking for with those initial mutas. They're not great fighting mutants. Mutants. Jimmy, edit that. But Bunny still has a strong attack coming together. The siege tank's already in range of the hatchery. The Hellbat's transforming. Muta's gonna look for an opportunity. But the hatchery is dead as soon as Bunny arrives. Baitling speed just now finished. Bunny has the upgrade advantage as well. This is not going to be something you can really break without expending potentially all of your units as Dark. He knows that. He expands over to his alternative 4th base down at the 3 o'clock position. And the mutas are still flapping around, looking for an opportunity. Gonna kill a few SCVs in the mineral lines as Bunny is on the hunt. A taste for blood, but the muta is easily able to evade. And it looks like Dark is prepared to go all Zeve. He's going mass muta. He doesn't have an infestation pit on the way. He doesn't have a Hydra den for some big switch into Hydra Ling or Lurkers. No. Mutas, Lings, and Banelings. Like we time traveled back to 2012, which was 5 years ago. So, a long way back to this unit composition, but it still checks out. It's just that Bunny has so much production already. He's got 68 SCVs. He's going for a 4th command center. He's going to have 2-2 upgrades. He's going to be nearly maxed out at the same time as the Zerg, who's trying to mass expand. So, Dark in a precarious position as he's besieged to the north side and under attack to the south. Though Bunny actually backs off with the attack at the 3 o'clock. There's a swath of Lings and Banes that would be more than enough to deal with the Marines, so he's going to be forced to back off for now. Sprinting back home to defend as the mutas are tearing down the supply depot wall. They've picked off a bunch of the Marines. He actually supply blocks Bunny. The muta count has gone from a concern to an alarming number, as right now he's got 15 of them. Dark is working on his 2-2 upgrades. Bunny already almost has them complete, but he has to rebuild supply depots as the mutas took out so many of them. And Dark is doubling, tripling, quadrupling down. Instead of an infestation pit, he adds 4 more muta. He's going to have +2 flyer attack. At some point, the flyer attack gets so good that pretty much ground armies without Thors or Widow Mines can't fight him anymore. But Bunny is well aware of that. And he's got a Thor and Drilling Claws on the way alongside that +1 mech plating. 3 more racks in production as well. But Dark starts his infestation pit. +3 infantry weapons already starting. The archaeological expedition will be cut short as Dark try to take down the rocks and open up a closer path to Bunny. But, of course, like most Terrans, he fears social engagement. So, infestation pit is halfway done. Mutas eat another Widowmine directly to the weird face. 2 more hatcheries on the way as he's expanding to most of his side of the map. Bunny, on the other hand, is securing his 4th base down the center. But he's working on that death ball composition. He's going to have the Thors. He's going to be maxed out. If he gets to 3-3, those are upgrades that Dark simply cannot match. Not for quite a while. You require a hive in order to get those 3-3 upgrades, and Dark is still pretty far off. The Thors are here. How many mutas? 16. 123 Zerglings for Dark. He only has 73 drones, which is relatively low for this sort of composition. Bunny try to come around the corner. A single Thor. Magic box. Banelings through. Zerglings on top. The Thor will be cut down. The Banelings thinned out. And it looks like Bunny will hold. But at what cost? Overall, Bunny getting the better end, I think. Yes, in resources, destroyed Buddy, technically killed more. But Dark maintains the momentum. He kept many of his mutas alive, building another round. Widow Mines. And the Marines get caught in the corner. Some left behind. They'll expect some of us in the wreckage, brothers. Meanwhile, the Medivacs trying to boost away, technically faster than the mutas, but they run out of fuel. And the Marines will drop out, but the Zerglings already on top. 19 more mutas in production. The absolute madman. Another group of Zerglings coming in from the north side, but the Widow Mines will zone them out for now. But Dark is quadrupling down yet again. He's going to have dozens of mutas up against Bunny, who only one Thor in production. May need to up those numbers. An industrial revolution may need to happen, as the weak and malleable Marines might not be enough as time goes on. But for now, they've gotten the job done. 3-3 not quite done yet. +1 Flyer Carapace is now completed. Is Hive done for Dark? Technically, yes. But practically, he hasn't added anything with it. No adrenal glands, no ultra cavern, nothing of the sort. I don't need to list off every bit of Hive tech. The turrets just melting under the withering fire of the mutaglaves. And the Marines as well. Trivial in comparison. A queen taking out the planetary fortress. Gotta be cut down from the sky. He's trying to get on top of it. Takes out the Widow Mines before they can fire. Eats another couple shots. The SCVs. Dark may lose a base, but Bunny lost that central location. Down goes a hatchery. 11 SCVs. The gold base. Dark will move to defend. Banelings rolling down the ramp. Widow Mines connect, but Dark comes in, swings in with the mutas, and wipes out the Marines. The Banelings still trying to cut through, but they're not needed. He's going to get many of the Medivacs. There's one more Widow Mine. Dodges away. Takes out a few more Medivacs on the way out. And Dark up to a 40 supply lead. There's the Ultralisk Cavern. 78 Zerglings on the way, and +3 upgrades across the board as Dark is embracing the full swarm. He's got another Overseer on the way. Adrenal glands as well. The orange and red upgrades completing, or begun for Dark, but Bunny does have 3-3 done for his Marines now. There is a Thor acting as a arguably more capable missile turret at the 4th base, but Bunny is bottled up, and Dark is coming for him. Chitinous plating. Ooh, the hidden Widow Mine on the side of the refinery, but the missile turrets are dying in a single shot. Ah, beautiful. That level of mutas that we so rarely see. But Bunny unable to find... Bunny could not find the timing before the muta count grew out of control. And now, all he can do is damage control. Widow Mines are still quite an existential threat. He's sacrificing those brave mutas. He's just targeting command centers. You're gonna have to deal with this, buddy. This is not something you can shrug off. He's not going anywhere. Down goes another orbital. The Thor, he's thinking about it. He's pre-splitting those mutas. Ultras are on the way. Dark actually hasn't lost much supply. So, oh, the Thor evacuated via the medevac. Tucks its little legs in, pops out, fires off another volley. The muta's dancing back and forth. Chitinous plating. Adrenal gland done. Every Zerg's Christmas wish list is coming online right now. Dark. Oh, but the Widow Mines connecting and wiping more mutas out of the sky, and chunks of them go flying across the field. He's adding in some corruptors as well to help wipe out more of the air army. And without them... Ooh. Oh, the Widow Mines with some critical hits down the center. Dark losing another big chunk of his army. Bunny is back to maxed out, but here comes another round. Whoa, Widow Mines connect yet again. Mutas on top. Thor finds a good position. Jammed in, zones the mutas out. And Dark hit right before an anti-timing. Dark with that classic 15 seconds before 3-3. The Widow Mine softened up the overwhelming number of Lings and Banes. And he didn't have the 3-3 upgrades done. A critical mistake out of Dark that gives Bunny the initiative yet again. He moves on to the field. The Ultras try to chew through, but the sheer amount of Marines, like a red tide, is rolling across the field. And right now, Bunny has the initiative. But he's on the creep. He's in Dark's territory. And, well, he's doing just fine for himself. The Corruptors have not yet worked on this, but Brenda, get your transfuse! I'm ready! The Ultra, the Hero-less, transfuse through! He's chewing through everything! The Ultra survives through it all, but Bunny still has a 15 supply lead. Another Ultra. The Queen's out of energy, gunning down more Ultras, but 2 more jumping into the fray. Another one cleaving through, but Bunny is tearing apart everything in front of him. The Mutas have been wiped out of the sky. The Zerglings cleared off the field. The Queen's eliminated from contention, and the Banelings evaporated without getting enough done. And Dark is on the ropes. The Ultras are tagged in yet again. He has more in production. Down 30 supply, though. Bunny's out of energy on all this. He's a few Ultra swipes or a couple good Banes from Disaster. The red and the orange Marines, the Banelings rolling through. The Ultra chewing up. And Bunny comes back around yet again. Dark holds on by the skin of his angry, huge, massive, and weird Ultraless teeth. And Bunny is driven back. But a credit to Bunny for holding on this long, as Dark had almost everything. But this Lisk and Ling composition, while dramatic, is still not the most stable. It is not something that you can rely on long term. This, off the back of the anti-timing attack, has created a much more tenuous situation for the final boss. As Bunny, a master of turtling up, hiding in his burrow, and then popping out when the time is right. And he took full advantage. So now we have quite a game on our hands. Bunny does not have a single ghost. He does not even have a ghost academy. He doesn't need no schooling. He's got drugs, he's got guns, and can I get a hell yeah, brother? Okay, well, that's fine. But the Ultras. Oh, chewing through the planetary to the south. The SCV's already preemptively on the run. Burrow was denied. That hatchery was upgrading Burrow. Bit of an oversight there. But Bunny is in a pretty comfortable position at the moment. The Ultras must be dealt with. He's making mass marauder. He's going to try to deal with it. But things... Ooh, another Widow Mine. The Corruptors and the Ultras. This kind of, bully unit composition for shoving the Terrans off the field. Still very strong. One mediocre fight away from disaster. Bunny still in a precarious position. Whereas Dark has a bit more space to fall back to. Despite not having the supply, he has the drones, and he still has the Ultras. 6 Ultras on the field. He's mining from the gold base again. Though I'm not sure Bunny will allow that for long. He's playing a little bit of Minesweeper at the moment. More Ultras. Targets down another. The small battle group of Marines and Marauders, and off a creep, the Ultras can't quite close the distance, and both sides are microing. No amount of stutter step for the Ultras there. Now going down the center, both sides mining from the gold. But Bunny is maxed out. Here come the Lings and Banes, but the Widow Mines actually get dodged. Ultras from both sides, Corruptors overhead, and the Ultras are closing in. The jaws of life are removing it from Bunny. And, oh, kiting back into the little choke point, the minerals, but Dark doesn't seem to care. The Ultras, the Concave still favoring Bunny here. 121 to 117 supply, but another Ultra is popped by the Marines and Marauders. Another Widow Mine will burrow, find a shot, not quite. A precarious position indeed. He still has refused to go for Liberators and Ghosts. And by refused, I mean hasn't really had the economy to stop going for the Marines and Marauders. Widowmines can cut both ways, though. Widowmine hits an Ultra and a bunch of Marines and Marauders. Takes it out. The dance across the field. Dark under 100 supply. Another Ultra exploderated. And the Marauder count continues to grow. And that's the huge difference here. With the Marauders, the Ultras just can't make the difference. He needs Infestors. He needs something. The Mutas are long gone. Hydras do not exist in this composition. The Corruptors are doing a great job of helping take out the Medivacs. 20 Medivacs taken down. A brutal game for both sides. Almost over 80,000 resources lost in 20 minutes. That might be a new record. But here we go again, brawling it out on the field. Down the center line, a single Ultra remains. Only 2 Queens to potentially transfuse, but the Medivacs are gone as well. Dark had a base in the top left corner. Bunny sent every Medivac and like 7 Marines and Marauders, but Dark has somehow expanded to the bottom right as well, embracing that true Zerg mentality. And that means that Dark still maintains a significant income lead. He restarts Burrow. The majority of Bunny's economy and SCVs is under threat at the 9 o'clock position from the Zerglings. Going to re-expand up to the top left corner. Bunny scans the bottom right. He knows he has to deal with it. He's going to take out the gold base down the center. Scanning forward. How... Burrow and 1 Infestor on the way. That tells the story of where Dark wants to go with this. Embracing the Cyril Fester. The Bio Ball still rolling through. Takes out another hatch, but he's able to pick it up. There are Corruptors. He hasn't built a single Viper this game. The Infestor will be the first non-Queen spellcaster. And calling Queen spellcasters feels a little reductionist. What a game. Bunny holding on, but with his conventional unit composition. And by that I mean Marines, Marauders, Mines, and Medivacs, the M&M and M&M. He's missing out on the Ghosts. And that means he doesn't have the ability to take, oh my, 1 Infestor to rule them all. And there it is! Huge fungal! And the Corruptors overhead means he can't escape! The Zerglings wrapping around. There's no Widowmines to save the day. They're coming up now, but he's going to lose so much of the Bio Army. Negates the Widowmines with ease, and Dark turns it around yet again. The Ultras chewing through whatever they can get a hold of. Unfortunately, the amount they could get a hold of is relatively minimal. And Bunny is able to come in with the reinforcements and potentially turn it around. A few Zerglings actually go through the planetary to the base at the 9 o'clock. But Bunny, the main brunt of the Bio Force, in the bottom right corner. 1 more Infestor on the way. Supplies still dead even. 115 to 121 in favor of Bunny. But that could change in a single moment. The Zerglings get 8 more SCVs. The Ultras are gathering alongside the Zerglings. Up to the right side of the map. Zerglings will reburrow. Supplies 124 to 123. Dark has lost 50,000 resources. Money 42k. Dark has lost 4,000 more gas. 800 Zerglings. 13 Ultras. 42 Mutas. And it's not over yet. It's still very much, as the minerals start to run thin, could go either way. Dark is embracing that full Zerg mentality of expanding repeatedly to either side, but Bunny is really starting to lock down these positions. He's got a Widowmine in the bottom right. The Infestor is spotted! Oh no, another one built immediately. But without the Infestor, how do you hold him down and knock him out? Zergling's trying to counter. Bunny in position to deal with it. A single Queen up at the front. Gonna try to target some of this down. Widowmine connects over the brunt of everything. The Bio Ball still rolling through. Those Banelings will burrow. And he scans for it. He knows the threat. Another Infestor is coming out. 129 supply across the board. Dark really needs to hold on to this base. There's 5 Medivacs, but they're not in position to heal. He doesn't have Caduceus Reactor. He never built a fusion core. Where is the Infestor? That's the question. That beautiful spread. I can't believe it's not butter. Zerglings to the 6 o'clock. Well, this attack comes through. The Queen off creep. Not able to transfuse. Down goes another one. More SCVs dead. Orbital forced to lift. Infestor in position. Oh no! Infra disaster! The Banelings! The Infestor in plain sight, but he didn't see it coming. Buddy plummets 30-40 supply. His army is gone. One corruptor remains. The Zerglings are overrunning the bases, and with less than 100 supply left on either side, I think Dark has done it. Bunny's down to 6 SCVs. This isn't Wings of Liberty. We didn't just start the game. 26 minutes and thousands of units later. I believe the final boss had one more card to play. GG. Dark takes game 1. 900 Zerglings. 15 Ultralisks. Buddy, to his credit, doing everything he could to turn it. And I don't think there are very many Zergs. That list, there are 2 Zergs. There are 2 Zergs on my list of people who could have survived that. And this one doesn't rhyme with feral, so. But Dark uses the Ultras to turn it around. And so appropriately, Game 2 will be held on the map Ultra Love. Now, I might be in favor of pun-based map design. But we'll see where their head's at. What a game. The most classical Zerg versus Terran. Dark with Mutaling Bane into Ultraling Bane. And Buddy with the M. Not a single ghost, not a single liberator, not a single viper. We were pretty much playing Heart of the Swarm. But through all the fire and fury, Dark manages to survive. The mutas, well, they were. I don't know if I could say they were a net positive or negative, but they certainly were. And that just shows how thin the margins are. A critical mistake from Dark, taking a fight 10 seconds before his upgrades. He thought he had the position, but those upgrades have such a exponential effect. Especially with armies as dangerous as both Dark and Bunny had. The amount of damage these units can do to each other so quickly is both incredible and like 3/4 of the reason you're watching this game instead of playing it. Like and subscribe if you agree. And those upgrades multiply it. And if you start winning a fight with either side, you continue winning it. Zerg especially is all about alpha damage. I'm not talking about Dark as the most alpha player you've ever seen, though that might also qualify. But instead, the initial burst damage, I guess is a better way to put it. As Zerg, you need to win enough of the start of the fight to win the rest. Because with Metavacs and Stutter Step and the micro potential of Terran units, as Clem has taught us, Terran likely, if a fight kind of is even, Terran will run away with it between all that sustainability. But Zerg, in appropriate fashion, if they overrun your defenses and leave you without enough to even micro, they'll run away with it. So, that is why it's so important to have those upgrades at a key time, if you can. To take those fights in the right position as Zerg. So the Terran doesn't get time. Sneaky, sneaky dread. They don't get time to recover. Overlord hanging out. Now that I'm sometimes I think you got to be an unbiased. Well, let's talk about my bias after the Zerglings either get in or don't. Is he? What am I watching? Well, the Reaper comes back. He kills. What a save there. by, well, everyone involved for the Terrans. Like, gotta be unbiased and neutral caster. No. Alright, that is the type of StarCraft that I love. That's why, originally, I started out as Terran and Wings of Liberty. Now I'm random, to be clear. 1/3 Terran myself. But because all my friends, which big mistake still had at the time, said Terran was OP. And you know what? It was. Terran was over 50% of the GSL. So perfectly balanced. But I was Silver League. So I eventually got to Diamond. And then I switched to Zerg, which I always thought Zerg was cool. Alright? The whole nature of Zerg. Creep spread. Well, the things I love most about Zerg that are unfortunately more rare today as a focus, mutas and creep. In Wings of Liberty, both of those were a lot more nuanced than they are on this fine day. As creep spread is much easier to both spread and get rid of. It spreads way more quickly and recedes way more quickly. Injects are far less punishing. And mutas, well, as noted there, have plenty of counters and are a lot harder to get damage done before your opponent already has the economy and production to deal with them. So, Bunny boldly going where every Terran has gone before, into the Queen's faces and daring them to do something about it. So, what I'm trying to say is that sort of game just tickles all the nostalgia nodules in me. And around me, if you would. Also combined with Bunny's old school mass unit Terran. And I think every Terran wants to play like that. The vast majority of Terrans. It's just we've kind of accepted. Would you guys stop interrupting me by doing actual attacks in the first 5 minutes of the game? Thank you! Dark gonna get in with 5s or... You can't... Buddy, you need to build a wall. The Zerg aren't sending their best. Well, that might be the... No, you're beautiful. Okay, like I said. But, I think most Terrans want to play that sort of heavy micro M&M style. It's just well accepted that Ghosts and Liberators are better late game units. Same with Zergs, though. Yeah, Dark did not make a single Viper. Objectively, having 2 Vipers is always better. Practically, for people who aren't... Build the wall! Well, this is not... last game was back and forth, but this is looking more one-sided than a Mobius strip right now. Queen's in position. Might be able to take out one of the Banshees. Not quite. Dancing around. But 11 SCVs dead. Cancels the base. So, they're still going. This is unacceptable levels of damage from the Zerglings. I'm still pumped. Get off my creep! Hey, bro. You too! I expected we had this like 5 minutes, and part of the reason why games arguably not as dynamic are the 5 minutes of building up and just maybe poking and prodding with Hellion Reaper. But here we are. Bunny down 44 to 69 workers, which is quite a nice advantage for Dark. I'm not exactly sure how you realistically recover from that. As Dark, wow, 1,200 minerals in the bank right now. Because he's a bit supply block. Gonna mass expand. And 10 Hydra's on the way. He's already got Hydra speed, Baneling speed, Hydra speed. Wait, no. Hydra range and now Hydra speed. You know what I mean. Queen bounced to safety. And here come the Marines and tanks. Baneling speed about 15 seconds out. And that will be the critical difference. Well, he would have to have some Banelings first, I guess. So, Baneling speed not very important if you don't have any Banelings. That is something to consider. Dark actually gonna take down the rocks. Try to drop those. I'm not sure that would help him, though. because then the siege tanks can kind of siege with impunity. He's gonna do it anyways. The tanks can't quite get in range of the hatch there. Rock tower drop down. Bunny will redirect. He's at 55 SCVs and not building anymore, though he is a bit supply blind. 16 Banes on the way. Zergling counter, cutting off some of the reinforcements. The siege tank's in a beautiful position, though he's going to pick off some of the medevacs. One tank taken out, but definitely... Ooh. 7 SCV is dead. I think most of the Banelings were a counter-attacking force. And Bunny in a very good... He's really making a mountain out of this molehill here. Banelings trying to roll through. Bunny's starting to run out of energy and medevacs themselves. One queen down. Another medevac maybe taken out. 2 siege tanks remain. Another one coming up, but the back and forth... Dark really kind of... I don't know if taking down the rocks is the right move there. As he kind of denied himself a flanking opportunity, but here we go. Zerglings finally make their way around the north side. Banelings just flailing into the tanks, but the Hydra count is pretty high. The tank... Oh my. That siege tank finally goes down. The Banelings finally roll through. The Hydra's trying to cut things off. And Bunny's momentum has finally been broken. Though, making quite a game of it there. Dark struggling to dislodge that position, but another Zergling counterattack comes around. A Zergling's overrunning the natural. Bunny trying again. The Hydra's trying to outflank the tank. They will get it. Dark with a haphazard response here. The flailing nature of Dark's attacks is the only thing keeping Bunny in some sort of position where he could potentially drag himself back, but he's down to 39 SCVs against 73 drones. Dark doesn't even need this base necessarily, but if he has a winning fight, he'll certainly try to defend it. Hydras and Queens in position. Well... Oh, this is sad. Guys, it's a massacre. Bunny's Dunkirk not looking so great right now. Another, oh my, oh wow. A trickle-down disaster. J. Dark with a much more decisive victory in Game 2 to secure the best of 3. And bring us into our bonus series of Dark versus MaxPax, the rematch. Yes, here we go again. But some of the, that first game, the most exciting one I've seen in quite a bit. And that's saying something with Dark. Well, Dark versus MaxPax have also had some of the most exciting games. Also, well... There's certainly a protagonist and an antagonist there. But... here we go again. So, for those who didn't watch Dark play against MaxPax in the Super 7, this is from the Monday Night Weeklies. Usually, for those wondering, I'd first like to address a few pet peeve comments. Alright, I would like to take this time, since Dark is... No, don't. Dark, don't do it! Okay, he spots the probe. I thought he was going to proxy entry. But, 1, I see complaints about Winter. You don't show the early game. You don't show the build orders. Are you trying to hide them from us? Yes, this is actually phrased hilariously. Well, I would recommend watching more than the first game. The reason we don't show the first couple minutes of the first game is because of TikTok attention spans. Okay, let's be fair. But what I've found in the past is the... #1 way to keep people watching to this point in the video, to hear me complain, and past the first 30 seconds, which are critical for those TikTok attention spans, is to skip to where there's actually something resembling action. Now, while you, my nuanced and breathtaking and genius intellectual viewer, might not care about watching from the 0-second mark of each game, starting at like the 1 to 2 minute mark has always been a better option. But for every game past that, because I've already got you, and you liked and subscribed, I'm more than happy to show from the very beginning. So whenever I see a comment like that, I'm like, so you watched one game then? Or the first 30 seconds. Which, you know what? Good for you, caring about the actual build orders and the nuance there. Which I do as well. But it's just kind of boring for many people. Especially those watching in the other room on their TV or doing laundry or the dishes or some other sort of mundane chore that everyday life is defined by, yet barely definable. Something else profound along those lines. And I'm just here to make it a little bit better. And if that makes it a little bit better, well, there you go. I got a little off track, though. What was my other points? I got less points than a basketball at this point, but... Oh, also, complaints about... And by complaints, I mean just kind of asking pointedly. And I try to be careful. We're gonna side aside. All right, sidebar. I understand that many of you might not speak English as a first language. Neither do I. I speak American, much to the dismay of many. But I know when things are phrased in somewhat of an abrupt way or a difficult way, like, why not tell what tournament it is? I know that's probably not English as a first language. And since about 90% of the content creators in RTS are just the Dutch, so it's a bit of a different deal. But the tournament is always in the description. If I don't, I try to mention it after the first game, at the very least. But it's always in the description. Sometimes further down, because again, YouTube algorithm stuff. So, but it should always be there, unless Jimmy screwed it up. But just FYI. Now, was that all my points? That's all I got. Oh, this brings us to the fact this was from TKL's Monday Night Weeklies. The French caster putting on another set of those weekly tournaments. So, wait, no, I take it back. This is not from TKL's Monday Night Weeklies. This was from the Stegosaurus Pigosaurus Cup, which is Stegosaurus combined with Pig. Also on Monday nights, though. So, all these tournaments happen at very different times for different regions. Though, you do seem to have a similar cast of characters throughout them. It's almost like it's their job. Wouldn't that be crazy? Video games as a job? You know what they say, if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life. Those people are stupid. I have spoken. And also there's the stress of always wanting to be a little bit better than last time. It does feel like a job, but I do love it. So thank you. Shut up, Jimmy. So, we've passed the harassment both of the viewers and the drones face. As the Oracles rack up 4 drone kills, there are 4 Zerglings dead and an Overlord. Dark, unable to find much more, but that brings me back to the best of 7 they played for the Super 7. If you haven't yet, there's a proxy hatch in the thumbnail. All right? I think it's worth watching. And Dark, with the most offensive cheeses that, even for him, go above and beyond. And MaxPax seemingly unable to figure out a response to them, for the most part. There are more proxy hatches in that series than not, without spoiling it, by the way. It doesn't necessarily mean they work every time, but it means Dark has such a commitment to this sort of strategy. It's absolutely obscene. But this time around, here on Amygdala, no commitment to that sort of strategy, just a kind of macro up to Hydras. The Oracle's 8 kills. Just a ridiculous amount of damage. Oracle recharge. 10 Hydralisks on the way. MaxPax going for the blink +1 timing. Hydras with range about to complete. Now, this is the kind of passive start I was expecting from Game 2 of Bunny versus Dark. But, by passive, I mean the Zerg trying to keep oracles from burninating through the entire countryside. But MaxPax now has blank and +1 done. Already working on +2. Dark down 12 workers. Certainly not an ideal place to be. Zergling split off to eat the stasis. I'm sure looking for more. A Nidus is on the way. Because of course it is. Dark realizing that he's already taken such a level of economic damage that might as well get dramatic and try to turn it around. There's a Robo Bay on the way, so MaxPax certainly acknowledging the danger that Mass Hydraling could pose. Sometimes you'll see players skip directly to Storm, but Colossi are a bit more accessible. A few Storms doesn't necessarily... Oh, no. Stop right there, criminal scum. Literally the most Hydras he could have... Every single Hydra. Now, this is kind of awkward because you can't pick off like half the army when the entire army is in stasis. So... he's going to try, take advantage of this situation, pick off a few more Hydras. Will lose a Stalker to himself, so has to be a bit careful with it. There's a Colossus in production. The Nidus network is done. It's a reinforcing tactical Nidus. Now, one Colossus is going to be so incredibly important. Dark does not have a 4th hatchery. He has not built a drone for several minutes. And the Hydras are popping out, but he loses the Nidus after just one. Gonna try to use it as a force field. Coming around the Colossus! Oh no! Dark! Again, this entire game has been going against him. He's gotten caught by everything. But now he snipes the Colossus, he depowers the Robo, and the Nidus is on the other side. I don't know how he finds these scenarios, but MaxPax blunks on top and will easily take out all these Hydras. We've arrived! The Queen's on top of everything, but so many Hydras died already. It's quite a precarious position right now. Dark, he might be able to transfuse that Nidus. I don't know if it's even going to be worth it. Also acting as a partial force field. The Queen's helping out, but I don't... There's +2 attack against nothing. Dark, a bit of a false start on the first Nidus. 10 probes dead, but MaxPax still has an advantage. The Queen's tanking so much damage. The Zealot's cutting through, though. Creep is spreading forward. This is still incredibly close. But GG, MaxPax holds. And Dark is stopped there. There was still... He sniped the Colossus. He finds these scenarios that... He turns a 95% chance of defeat into almost a coin flip. So often. Did the same thing against Bunny on the same map. But MaxPax still had the momentum and is able to hold on. Bringing us into Game 2. StarCraft. One of our community maps. Beautiful one as well. Maybe Dark will pull the drone across a little bit quicker this time. But one of those games where you get nickel and dimed by the oracles. And the problem is, it's like a Rube Goldberg situation, a slippery slope. If you lose drones to the first oracles, then you get a little greedier to catch up. Then that increases the likelihood you'll lose drones to the next or pass from the oracles. And then that leaves you even more vulnerable to the next set. And if they're on point with their micro, like MaxPax pretty much always is, it just gets worse and worse. That's why Dark was in this situation where he has Hydras, he has Lings, and he has one shot. Because there's no macroing out. by that point, MaxPax is already so far ahead technologically and economically. The only thing he doesn't have is a strong standing army. So, Dark almost managed to break through before the army came together, but MaxPax had just opened up too much of a lead. I think if that first Nidus didn't get completely shut down, and Dark was able to use it to reinforce, he might have enough. I really hope the rumblings of Dark's actual retirement are not true. Though, it seems more and more... We're in that same situation with my past love, Zest, who is not coming back. He's well, I can't really blame him. He finished his obligatory military service, and apparently he's like running a business now or something. I'm not sure what sort of business, and I think Dark was the source of that information, so... But with no GSL or really no major tournaments at all, especially in Korea specifically, don't really blame him for reprioritizing. So, but it seems like we're getting to that scenario where Dark has said, he said after the World Cup last year he'd be retiring and doing a start, because he's almost 30 years old, which is, to my understanding, the very limit of when you can kind of postpone your service. Most people decide to do it in their early 20s or late teens, like before college or school. Though, especially if you have some sort of career, like an athlete, which South Korea knows more than anyone how athletic esports players are, essentially being the first, and still to an extent, the only country to truly accept it. But you're allowed to postpone it, especially if you're kind of an age-dependent career. But Dark is reaching the limit of that. And at this point, it's rough. So, I wasn't sure whether or not he'd actually be required, but... And I don't know what I'm gonna do without him. That'll cut us down to about 2 other Zerg players who can compete. And only, well, 3 and 2 who actually play in tournaments that aren't major, like quarterly ones. So, and those players are Solar and Shin, by the way, in case you're wondering. Neither of which quite has the unique and dynamic style that Dark does. Cyril is the one I'm referencing, who only plays in major tournaments. And Raynor mostly playing League of Legends at this point. The Zerglings just kind of run by. Oracle lights up. Twilight Forge is going to be the follow-up yet again. And Dark with another conventional build. This time he's going to be able to get his 4th base in a timely manner. Only lost 2 drones, and he actually managed to kill 2 probes. So far, pretty alright. And it's not Blink, but instead Charge, going into an Archon Rush, or maybe just Storm. Either way, Charge lots are the choice from MaxPax. Robo. Likely an Archon drop follow-up in this case. Couple more probes taken out, and kind of a night and day difference between this and last game, where Dark's going to be at 64 drones to 59 probes. So instead of being down 10 workers, he's up by 5 and adding more. The early Zerglings, enough to keep the pressure on. And I think he's about to realize that he's up against the Archons. Yeah. Hydralisk done is done. He adds a Roach Horn immediately, though in a kind of a precarious position, putting it right outside the third base. Seven Hydras on the way. 74 drones is about the most you could ever ask for, especially against this sort of early mid-game pressure that MaxPax is about to bring to the table. Oracle. Multiple Oracles, still with plenty of energy for either Revelation, maybe a Stasis or two, but the Queen's gathering. And, oh, does anyone have energy? Oh, rest in pieces, Karen. And, huh. The time to recall has already passed. Dark just... Well, that was quite a false start of an attack there. That was an utter failure from MaxPax. He did not have a Warp Prism to micro the Archons, which is like essentially moving out with one leg. And that's somewhat ironic because neither Archons nor Warp Prisms have legs. Adding it to the list of things that Protoss don't have, like common sense. Or mouths. So, a Hydra's sniping off one of the Zealots. A few more loaded up for the main, but the Hydra's are already in position. Hydra speed almost done as well. Already getting some hits onto the Prism. And Dark in a very comfortable position now. He's up 50 supply. Yes, Storm is done. But Dark can easily hit multiple angles. He's going to have such an army supply lead that Storms are not the be-all, end-all. MaxPax opening up more gates. He's going to have +2 on the way, but so does Dark. And I'm not sure what he's waiting for. There's no reason not to move out at this stage. He doesn't have an infestation pit nor hive on the way. There's no lurker down or spire or something. Looking to follow this up. Dark has the advantage. He has the army supply, and now he's looking to wield it. Roach speed is done. Hydra and Zergling speed, of course, already there. He's going to split off some supply up to the north side, more to the south, and a whole bunch down the center. Here comes Dark with the three-pronged fork attack. Trying to fork MaxPax up. Takes out the fourth base. Already hitting the probes on the third. The Roaches and Hydras. In position. Where's that Warp Prism throughout all this? There is no Warp Prism. Must have flown directly in. And the Storms across the board. A weather front is coming in. But Dark is... He takes out an Immortal, which is already just walled off. A second Robo's on the way. The Roaches and Hydras concentrating on the natural. More gonna get taken out by some of the Zealots. More Storms. As Immortals are moving up. Dark thinning out some, but more reinforcements are just streaming across the map. And the river of Zerg will continue. Another Immortal jabbed in. I'm reasonably sure that... No, wait. Wow, what a perfect positioning. And somehow MaxPax is starting to hold. Some Changelings in the mix there. Roaches and Hydras target down another Templar, but the two Immortals are blasting through. Takes out the Changelings as well. MaxPax somehow actually holds. But at what cost? Jimmy. Well, trying to tally that up. Well, about even losses on either side. MaxPax destroyed a little more gas, but Dark can easily replenish. Significant income advantage, though not overwhelming. Only about 500 more resources a minute. And only about 100 more gas. Some charge lots slinking out. Dark has no follow-up. He doesn't have the info. He's still, that same list of tech, still doesn't have it. Does not have any further progression. But MaxPax did not get a fourth base. He's mining out of his main. He actually lost his Cyber Core, which limits his options for teching up. And of course, Stalkers are not the worst thing to have, but Roaches and Hydras coming again. Third base under attack. The Templar with so much energy. An Archon in front. More Storms coming through. Going to want as many Archons as possible. The Roaches and Hydras, the Nexus itself under fire. He's just right-clicked on the Nexus. Charge lots counterattacking. Nexus goes down, and MaxPax starting to fall apart. The Immortals, the Templar taking down, the Hydra's bruised, the Roaches battered. But the Immortals will be broken. The Nexus already dead. The Zealots are being cleaned up on the other side. MaxPax did re-expand to the north, but it's not completed yet, and a severe income advantage now for Dark. He's expanded to a 5th and a 6th base, which includes two rich Vespene geysers. He's on top of the Immortals. More storms come through. Hydra's micro back. Probes will die on the front lines, and somehow MaxPax will hold with the Immortals truly living up to their names. Dark may be forced eventually to get to Hive. Roaches, Hydras, and Lings coming in yet again. Hydras. Dark, he does run the minor risk of overcommitting and getting hit with a counterattack. But he's opened up such a lead. He has so much economy. He can lose a base or two and still be far ahead. Contaminate used the tactical goop on one of the robotics facilities in order to limit production. Not that MaxPax can really afford it anyways. A Lurker Den and Hive are on the way, just in case we make it to that point. And Immortal Archon Templar is one of the best armies to deal with it, but any complications at this point are almost impossible for MaxPax. Warps in some Zealots, the Zerglings into both mineral lines, and working on the 3rd as well. 15 probes dead. He's got a real problem now. Double the supply. Gonna take out another Archon. The storms are withering. And he may take out one more Archon, which is quite huge, but more Hydras knocked out. 22 probes dead. He cannot withstand another round of this. There are still 5 Immortals. They've racked up so many kills, but MaxPax realizes it's not gonna get any easier. GG! Knocks out a Warp Prism with 2 Immortals inside, and Dark strikes back. Well, we're all tied up. The difference between Dark losing like 20% of his economy and simply not, pretty dramatic there. MaxPax trying the Charge Lot Archon, but he kind of dropped the ball in the most important part, which is keeping the Archons alive. There's nothing that can contest a Warp Prism with Archons. You can't chase it down until you get Hydra speed, and even then. But he just kind of lost the Archons before the Prism came in, and that was disastrous. Well, we go to the decider, the final match. El Dorado. Well, here we go. And Dark, I was looking for the probe scout in order to know whether he could take his naturally. He does. Now what? El Dorado, one of our spiciest maps. Though I'm not sure exactly what map pool was used for this tournament. Obviously, we've already had some new ones. In Starchild there, I think 2 or 3 of them are community maps. It's unclear when, if ever, we'll get a change to the official map pool. But official at this point is whatever the community is interested in. So... Naturally, on the way. So far, I'm always looking to see what's coming across the map in this particular matchup. Not Zerg versus Protoss, Dark versus MaxPax. And MaxPax has been having a bit of a rough, I'm not going to say month, but few weeks. Where against, so for better or worse at this point, there's like 5 or 6 major matchups that happen in StarCraft 2. We know who the best players are. They play against each other almost all the time, with the exception of Cyril, who is a cut above the rest and kind of acts like it with when he plays. But I digress. There's Hero, Dark, MaxPax, and Clem. Okay? Maybe you could throw Beyond in there sometimes. Shin and Solar occasionally. But MaxPax has... It feels like his style has gotten a little figured out, which has a tendency to happen after things stabilize for a while. Whereas Hero is impossible to figure out. And he also has quite a roller coaster career for Protoss. MaxPax not so much. MaxPax has mostly been an upward trend with a few level offs. But Hero is back on it again, and recently consistently beating Clem and Dark, and he's even gone toe-to-toe with Cyril. So Hero and his drunken brawler Protoss seem to be back in style, whereas MaxPax is much more calm and collected. Protoss style is feeling dangerous yet uninspired. So we'll see if he adjusts it again, adds in any new developments or refines it further. I mean, it comes down to that early pressure. He's going to get in, he's going to kill 1, 2, 3 drones, finds 4. The Queen's unable to get anything more. Don't you say a word, Susan. I don't want to hear another thing about worker harassment. We've done this bit too many times. Yeah, but no, not today. Not today. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe the next day. It's most days, to be honest. See, now you're doing it, Brenda. Now you're part of the problem. No, I'm not a hypocrite. I'm a leader. You're a follower. I have spoken. Unlike the Protoss, am I right? No, oh my god. Sorry, I blacked out for a moment. Oracle in towards the main. He's got 4 drones so far. The Oracle's still intact. Twilight and Forge will be the follow-through. Hydralisk Den. That is a very quick Hydralisk Den. The fact the Hydra Den is finishing, it's already nearly done at 5 minutes. The lair's so fast here. MaxPax did spot it. It's going to be blank and +1, but this is Dark hitting a preemptive timing. Ideally, the Hydra's hit before blink and +1 complete. And he's only got 48 drones, which is mediocre economy at best. MaxPax should be chrono boosting as much as he can the blank and +1, but I don't think he's quite realized the magnitude of danger he's in at the moment. The drone count at the 3rd would certainly give it away. Well, he's building a cannon in the mineral. Wow, he's actually blocked off like a 1/3 of his mineral line. But better a 1/3 of your mineral line get blocked off than all of your probes dead, I guess, so. The probes have to go all the way around. Oh, that is rough. Hydras and Lings. And will it be enough? I'm hard-pressed to say yes, but Lurker Den is on the way behind. This is all off 47 drones. He needs to get damage done. Lurkers will be a good follow-up, but if the first attack falls flat, that's a disaster for Doe. Zerglings in stasis. Stasis triggered. Oh, but another one. And he has enough for more energy recharge. Means 2 more stasis wards at the ready. He's buying time. Blink is done. +1 is now about to complete. The Hydras and Lings coming in, but 3/4 of the Zerglings caught in stasis means the Hydras can be focused by the Stalkers. Now +1 is done, giving him quite a helpful upgrade. Probes are pulled off the line, realizing that this is effectively all in. 15 probes dead. Another stasis. That one, I'm not sure who it helps more, as it's essentially a force field. The Stalker's blinking all the way into the back line. 17 probes dead, but MaxPax still has a lead. And Dark, well, he's got a lurker den completed. I think he's looking to use it. Coming in for another round, trying to use the Zerglings that just came out of stasis. Breaking through into the natural. There's a Robobay on the way, Zerglings. You're gonna wrap around, and Dark just taps it out. Now, was it over? Here's the thing. It's not getting any easier. He knows he's up against... Hey, does he see? He didn't see the Robobay, but an Immortal just popped out. He didn't get the damage he needed. The Stasis Ward sandbagging him way too much. If he had 20 more Zerglings in any of those fights, well, I think it's very likely he takes out the third base. But Dark does not have the economy for anything else. I would like to see him try the Lurkers, but it's very clear when your momentum is waning against Protoss, and it's effectively impossible to get it back at this stage of the game. So, a disappointing follow-up to a decisive victory against Money, but still another set of dynamic games by the final boss. MaxPax takes this series. Maybe next time Dark, well, hopefully there's a next time, but Dark will be able to pull the proxy hatch back over his eyes. We'll see. But thank you for watching. Hopefully it made your day just a little bit better. And if you got the means of motivation, it'd be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free. At least for now. So thank you to our Mule Tier patrons, bringing in the Minerals, Big Jigador, Mario, and Suit. And otherwise, thank you for watching. Make sure autoplays on the right video wake up. For those of you that use autoplay, I kind of find it annoying, but I digress. And I'd like to wish you good luck, have fun, and thank you again for watching. I'll see you next time. Good luck, have fun, stay chill.